Recruiter here, the Headless Headhunter, getting you ahead of your job search by reviewing your resumes. The resume we have up first is, I don't fully know. They just told me software engineer. I think, based on the quick meter read I did of this, it is a full stack software engineer, but you all need to tell me when you send me this. You 1000% need to tell me, because I want to be clear. I look these qualifications up ahead of time, right? Like, I don't have these like burned into my memory for 1,000 different industries. So this person has been applying since 2024 July. So that's like a year and 2 months, and they've not been able to get a single interview. They would greatly appreciate my feedback on my resume, as it may help me increase my chances of getting an interview. They are currently on an F1 OPT. Lastly, thank you so much for your time and effort. No worries. I am here to help. So if this is a full stack software engineer, and again, that is a if because I don't fully know, what we are looking for is TypeScript, JavaScript, CSS, HTML, Node.js, Angular, Next.js, GraphQL, SQL, React.js, API, RESTful APIs, Cloud, Agile, CI/CD, cross-functional, .NET, Python, or Java. Again, you don't need .NET and Python and Java. It's usually one of those and then like one of their extra little library things. And bonus points for architecture, extra language, and Git. This person also completely doxed themselves, so I cannot scroll past this page, so this is the only thing that we can see. Alright, so the problem is I found not a lot of this. So the formatting is off. Again, your formatting should look like this. How to do this is on my website, right up here. Just headlessheadhunter.org, and you can find the resume guide there. It's free. I would very much recommend you read it. But this is not just a problem of formatting. So while this should not be bolded, and it should be one line for this and one line for this, it's not a huge deal. This is completely irrelevant and needs to be deleted. These are what I need here. You cannot have a technical skill section. You just can't. I'm sorry. I wish it was easy where you could just put a skill section and then you'd be done, but you need them under your bullet points under a job, an internship, or a project. If a skill, which is a qualification, is not under a job, a project, or a qualification, and it is not written how you used it and the reason and result of using it, it might as well not exist in your resume. That is where a lot of people go wrong, is they think they can just shove every single qualification here, but you can't. You have to explain how you did it and the reason and result. So if we go through here, I do find one or two things that I need. So React, Node.js is good. The rest of this I don't really care about. Modular MVC, again, I don't really care about. Like, maybe that's more for Android or something, but I don't have those qualifications up. SQL is good. RESTful APIs is good. And GitHub is probably nice, so that's a given. But at no point in this do I actually see TypeScript, JavaScript, CSS, or HTML. I don't see .NET, Python, or Java. Again, I see it here, but this does not count. This might as well not be in your resume. And I cannot Control F to find it here because, again, you have doxed yourself. And then if I go down here, I don't see anything I need. I don't see anything I need. I see SQL, which is good, which even though you already said it here, you want to repeat the same skills in multiple jobs. So it is okay to have SQL here and SQL here. You do not want to put SQL here and SQL here. And AWS, which is good, but nobody's going to get this far down. This is incredibly dense, and it gives me almost like 30% of what I need. So what you need to do is, A, you're going to need to apply to a ton of jobs regardless, because as an international, unfortunately, you're going to have to apply to about 3 times as many jobs. That's just the fact. It sucks, but it's unfortunately the case. You are going to have to try harder than everybody else. So this needs to be deleted. Then here, I want you to, instead of say leading client workshops and defining product scope and architecture for scalable, just say led. Also, I don't even know what client workshops are for this. Like, this is kind of, did you create this or did you just tell them what they needed? Because this is the part that I'm a little thrown off by, is it doesn't sound like you did it yourself. It sounds like you advised somebody else to do it. So I just want to say, you should say instead, architected a scalable full stack, and then put TypeScript, JavaScript, CSS, HTML, add marketplace MVP using React, Node.js, and Superbase translating into the rest of it is fine. It's not as needed, but it's fine. But yeah, I don't even see Python. I don't see Java. I assume this is Python, and I can't find it anywhere here. Your very first sentence as a software engineer needs to say your tech stack with your chest. You need to be like, I use TypeScript, JavaScript, CSS, HTML, and Python. That's what I need you to say. So, and then AWS is all the way down here, and CI/CD is all the way down here. So you need to hyper focus on what we're actually looking for, because I don't think they're looking for a lot of this stuff. Like, you put a lot of stuff that they're not really looking for, and realistically, most people are only going to get this far down in your resume. So this deleted, fix your formatting so we can get farther. Your sentences need to be pruned, and you need, well, actually like Python, TypeScript, JavaScript, CSS, and HTML. Or Java or .NET, but I'm assuming since you put Python up here, you do know Python, and that is your primary one. So there's just not enough to move you forward. That's why you're not getting a single interview. Is A, it's harder as an international. B, the job market is trash. Don't let anybody convince you otherwise. It's an awful job market. But C, despite the fact that the job market is bad, your resume is also bad, and it is hurting your chances. So I need you, if you truly are a full stack, to fix this. And it's kind of weird as well that you state senior consultant right after intern, and you stated you did not get a single interview in over a year. So I don't know if this is even true or not, but it's not up for me to judge. I am able to judge if you have enough to move forward, and you just don't, because I need 75% of this. So before we go to the next resume, I just want to thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. It really does help me out. And if you ever need more help, you can jump on my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST. That's where I give like interview tips, and I go more in detail than I can through just a YouTube screen. I talk to people directly on that, and that's how I help them. And it is also free. So that's at twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter, and let's go to the next resume. This is a project coordinator resume. This person, we do not know their ratio, is they resubmitted this resume after a deep rework. That is, there were a lot of E's in that deep. Hopefully I used your advice well, but still paranoid about it. Reworked my resume in addition to the previous one, and also made it simpler. Not sure how it would stack up, but you want to start using your resume for the coming weeks. Spent almost a week reworking on it. Literally sleep deprived to paranoid. Get some sleep. They're also in my chat right now, so I'm going to work with them after. But for a project coordinator, we are going to look for multitasking, organizational skills, and industries. This is probably going to be the biggest one. We need to see that you can handle multiple projects, because as a project coordinator, that is, I'd say most of your job is being able to multitask. Organizational skills are kind of wrapped into that, but you have to get other people to do it. And industry, again, I can't fully get each industry. Sometimes individual industries will have some certain qualifications that I can miss. Microsoft Office, Google Workspace, Smartsheets, Jira, Confluence, Excel, MS Project, Outlook. Those are what we're going to be looking for. Proactive problem solving. Remember, your job is to anticipate issues with the project and make sure it keeps on its deadline. Then we want to make sure that you can speak to clients or customers or stakeholders. To this day, I'm not fully sure what the difference between a customer and a client is. Maybe that's like B2B or B2C. Hopefully people can tell me in the comments. That one is something I should probably know, but it never really came up. And a bonus for admin support, CAPM, Asana, Trilio, and MS Project. And my dog is doing weird stuff. Okay. That was it. He rolled over. So, can I find it in 20 seconds? Let's find out. All right. They let me know something in chat about this. Okay. Got it. So, let's go. All right. Degree. Good. Mitigated 10K in outsourcing costs, good, by securing additional collaboration with internal healthcare partners, prolonging project lifespan, and significant time application. That is solid. Raise stakeholder response rate from 36%. A little too much percentages. Google Workspace, I like, though. Eliminated duplicate contact records. Kanban boards. These are okay. Cross-collaborate between IT to... I know I ran out of time, but I'm extra slow today, so I'm giving people a teeny bit more time since my brain is not working. For small mid-sized companies in model showcase in Morocco. This is okay. I think there's a lot of stuff we could do to improve it, but I definitely do like how it is. I like the bones of it. Like, I think this might be a probably closer to like a 1 in 50, like equivalent of C minus. So this is something I'm not fully certain of. No, this makes sense. You want the MS. As you've gotten your master's in engineering management, I don't know if you really need to list your BS. This might be role dependent, but the Six Sigma Green Belt, this is great. We definitely want this. The MS is solid, but I don't know if we need this or not. Because, again, you're not doing the stuff yourself. You are managing them. So I feel like engineering management might supersede the bachelor's. So you may just want to remove this and it will save some space. This is solid again. We want to see stuff like that. And here's where some of the stuff falls apart a little bit. So for one, we don't want this little lines under it. Again, I'm in Colorado for the next, well, at this point, week after this. So I think that's another 6 to 7 videos for y'all. So I'm not at my home desk and this computer is formatting stuff very weirdly. So I'm being extra lenient on formatting. But I do know, regardless of that, you don't need this little underline. But once we get to here, we start having a little bit of a problems. It's not that this is a bad sentence. It's that it's not as easily understandable as it could be. Understandable is not a word. So mitigated 10K in outsourcing costs by securing additional collaborations with international healthcare partners, prolonging project license, strengthening talent acquisition prospects is a little too, I don't know if technical, but like you would need to know some part. Like I don't know why that's good besides the 10K. I think the 10K is good, but I don't know how that involves multitasking. I don't know how that involves any sort of organizational skills. It does show proactive problem solving, but I'd like a little bit more. So I might work with you after this on how to rework it, but I would say something like, let's see, how would I say this? Actually, this is the part I'm not really sure about. What is prolonging project's lifespan? Because I don't know if that would be a good thing. Off the top of my head, I thought of it like, does that mean that it took longer to complete? And that's probably not the case, but you don't want them to think that. So I would say we should, and again, this is a little too broad, and this is a little too broad. I like how you wrote this one, though. So how would we work this out? I would say mitigated, in fact, I would say saved our company $10K in outsourcing costs by... and then we can start adding it. Because, I think this is the good part. Because it does show proactive problem solving of saving costs. But this doesn't really show it as much, right? This is to the technical part. So maybe like saved our company $10K in outsourcing costs by reducing turnaround on our documentation templates via Google Workspace. And raising stakeholder responses, which allowed them to, speed up the project or something. So my big problem is I'm just not really seeing the multitasking or the organizational. I do see the proactive problem solving, that's good. I do see the Google Workspace. Trilio, maybe. And again, maybe Kanban and Notion are very specific to this part of industry. Then we get down to here, and it's much better. Cross-collaborated between IT and engineering departments. Good. That means cross-functional. It's always good to put. To deliver 120K forecast in small and medium-sized enterprises, radically costly and resulting in model showcase. This is solid. The model showcase is what the goal is. But deployed models 6 weeks ahead of schedule. This is great by streamlining existing processing pipelines with custom Excel macros, allowing team to clean and analyze. This is perfection. And this is my big problem with it, is this is like mid. These are solid. This is what they'd want to see. This they do want to see. This, I don't know if they'd be as interested in. Analyze task process and assign tickets in Jira, enabling members to resolve issues 17% faster while meeting sprint deadlines. Great. I'm not a fan of percentages, but this is a good use of a percentage. So a lot of people see me say no percentages. This is a good use of percentages, right? This is enabling team members to resolve the issue 17% faster while meeting sprint deadlines, right? That it's the sprint deadlines that hold it together. Spearheaded real-time dashboards, good. Providing stakeholders instant visibility, driving rapid response, and all that. Yeah, this is perfect. And this is my big problem with the resume, is this is the mid part. This is great. I love this. This is exactly what I'd be looking for. Am I missing Excel? Yes. A little bit. Let's see. Microsoft Office. Again, that skill sections don't count. So I would like to see a little bit, but I really like what you wrote here. And I think that is the big problem, is this is super strong and can get you interviews alone. They'd have to get through all of this first. So again, we want to fix the formatting a little bit, not a huge thing. Probably remove this. Then we need to make this more relevant. And then if they can get to this, they probably will move you forward completely. So again, not to say that you're panic. And again, I don't want to say this is bad. I just think this is mid. And I think you are potentially going to need like maybe visa stuff. So it has to be more than just mid. But I like where you were going with it. I think that is the good part, is I like where you're going for it and you had the right idea. We're just going to fine tune it, which I will do in chat. For everybody else, we're going to the next resume. This is a resume of a data scientist. This person said that they want to land an ML data scientist role, and they have been on it for like forever. They stated they have over 150 applications to one interview. So, excuse me, I am assuming it probably takes them like 300 applications to get an interview. I also did a very quick meet or eat of this, but my dog made chaos happen, which I'm staring at now, and that video got deleted. So this is the second time reviewing it. So what we're looking for is, in a data scientist, is degree, Python, R, SQL, data in all its forms, industry, healthcare, SDLC, explain stuff to non-technical people, influence stakeholders, cross-functional cloud, AWS, Azure, GCP, Microsoft Office, Google Sheets, AI, with in this case specifically ML, Spark, Skibbity Learn, Pandas, dashboards, data visualization. So on my first go through, I only found, again, this part can be deleted, I only found about 5 of them. So I found Python, I found ETL, I found AWS, I found SQL, NLP maybe, but maybe it could count. And I found ML, although it should be machine learning and then ML. But a bigger problem than this is that this was written for a technical person. So one of the biggest things that you need to do as a data analyst or data scientist or anybody who is highly intelligent working with a large amount of data is you have to explain it to people that don't know. And this resume was written in a way that is indecipherable. Like, led the full cycle of ML project delivery from business scoping with client stakeholders to deployment, leveraging Git workflows to streamline and reducing forecasting efforts by 40% across 2 departments. Built and deployed NLP models for customer sentiment analysis using cloud ML infrastructure, version control with Git, improving accuracy by 40% across high volume via telecom and banking. And the problem is that means absolutely nothing, right? Like that a technical person would understand. So what I would like to show you all is how to write that. I am going to use an example from the video game League of Legends. I don't know if any of you have played it. It's actually better if you haven't played it. This is a bad sentence, and this is what your resume sounds like to a non-technical person. When I play bot, I like to use Jinx because it's easier to get CS and I can rush an IE. Cool. What does any of that mean? What's bot? Who's Jinx? What is CS? And why do you need to rush an IE? It makes no sense. Unless you played the video game. If you played the video game, you would know what it means. But that is what your resume sounds like. So what I need you to do is, instead of writing it like that, write it like this. This is a good way to write it. When I go to the bottom lane in the video game League of Legends, I pick the character Jinx, as she has an easier time getting gold CS from minions, which allows me to buy an Infinity Edge faster. This is how I want everybody to write their resume, because this is comprehensible to the layman. This makes sense. This, even if you don't fully understand. Even if you don't fully understand all of it, you understand that the bottom lane is a place that you can go to. The game is a video game, so you know it's going to be video game stuff. The character is in that video game is Jinx. And she has an easier time getting gold. CS, you don't know what it's necessarily used for, but getting gold is at least understandable. From minions, which again, you may not know, which allow you to buy the item, which is what IE is, faster. In fact, should be IE. There we go. That is how I want people to write it. Because this is bad, the above one is good. And that is the biggest problem with this, is a non-technical person will read this and they will not know what it is. They will only see 4 or 5 things they need and then decline you. That is why you're having problems. Not counting if there's any like remote things or international student stuff or anything like that. So this is your problem. It is indecipherable to a layman. I need you to rewrite it. And this is also why I try to use the words qualifications and not keywords, because if it was truly a keyword, you could just put Python, ETL, and AWS and you'd be golden, but you can't. You have to describe how you used it and the reason and result you used it. So let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of a back-end developer. They are not in the US. It is .NET. So again, I have to do a US version of this, but they gave me this one. So this is the not US version of Backend Developer. Since the market where they're at is tough and they lack the experience, they've been struggling to find a job for 2 years. You've only been able to have 3 job interviews so far, and they're not sure if that's your resume or the luck or experience. For removed sensitive information except the hyperlink of their socials, and you've appreciate any help with the resume. Okay, so let's review it to see if it makes it. Again, this is what we're going for based on what they believe they found, which probably is accurate. So let's do a real quick 20 seconds. Can we find it? And let me look at this because I have not done a .NET developer in a while. See. MongoDB, PostSQL, MS SQL. Okay, cool. So start. All right, again, we cannot use this. Education, okay. Education, again, I don't necessarily need this. There is definitely formatting issues. Network technician, okay. That's actually okay. Then developed a web app, scans Hebrew supermarkets using OpenAI, and then we don't. Okay, yeah, I can see why this does not work. So, first off, what we need to do is we need to fix the formatting. The biggest issue with this, I think, mostly, besides the, well, there's 2 big issues, is there's just not quite enough experience, and the brain stopped working, and the formatting is off. So we want to make it look like this, all right? So here's how we would fix that. Normally, I'm okay with doing, like, network stuff here. I don't think this is needed. So this, again, I don't know the area. Let's see, I don't know how impressive or not this is, but it's okay to have both. So we can have full stack MERN course by Yaniv Arad, and then you can put your diploma, and then I don't know if this is needed or not. This, again, isn't needed. Then we go to the projects, and here's where the problem is the work experience does not add anything to this. If you were there for 5 years, I would say we could keep it because it shows stability. But because you were only there for 2, I don't think it's as relevant, right? 2 years is okay, it's nice, but it's not huge. So then we go down to here, is developed a web app that scans supermarkets using OpenAI and suggests items to buy in the next purchase. So the problem is, if you notice, these are the qualifications that you specifically gave me. I cannot find any of those in this sentence. So it should look like this, but there's none of that here, right? Like tech stack, good, ASP.NET, but you can't just list things. So now maybe it's because it's in Hebrew and I cannot read Hebrew. But yeah, you cannot just list things. So this is a bit of the issue, is you just sort of list it here, but you don't tell me how you did it. And as an example from the last resume, this is a League of Legends thing again, is you have to tell me how. You have to tell me how you did it and the reason and result. Now, is it going to be crazy because it's a project? No, and that's okay, but I still need to know. Because this resume has basically nothing. Right? And that's a bit of the issue, is I'm not necessarily looking for OpenAI. Maybe it's okay because they want AI, but I want to see developed a web app in C#, ASP.NET, JavaScript, and React, right? That used OpenAI. And then the next one, we could do something else. And then the tool to do CI/CD is, again, okay. See, this one's a little bit better. It's developed a simple to-do app to practice configuring. Don't say to practice. Never say that you are learning it. Just say what you've done. That is a big thing. Again, maybe it doesn't translate to Israel, but I don't know. And at least in the United States, you don't want to do that. So, developed a simple to-do app using CI/CD pipelines, ASP.NET, and React or whatever, and SQL. So, my issue is you state them here, but you don't state them here. So, I personally think we probably need to redo this resume with some of your projects. And it's okay to have the projects. It's just you need to say how you've done them. And even in these projects, if you've noticed, I can't find .NET. I don't think you gave me a .NET position, and I only say ASP.NET, which I guess they care about. But like, this is only places where it's .NET. I need to see develop the web app using .NET. What about RESTful APIs? RESTful APIs, again, doesn't count up there. It's not in it. SQL, I think I found. Yeah, you have SQL, which is good. But again, you put it all the way down here. You don't show it in how you did it. And then do we have Docker? Yeah, again, it's all the way down here. It's not here. So that is your biggest problem, is you just listed a bunch of keywords. And this is why listing a bunch of keywords doesn't work. It just doesn't work. You need to show how you do it. And that is the biggest problem with this. I also don't know if I found TypeScript either. Was there TypeScript? It probably was. Yeah, again, all the way down there. So that's the biggest problem with this one. Let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of I don't know. They didn't tell me. Please tell me. They just said SDE, which is Software Development Engineer. But guess what? I cannot just use that. At least I think it's an SDE. Sometimes, like, different industries have the same acronym, and this is why I think people should always in their resume state the acronym, because I was once recruiting for 3 separate industries that all used the same acronym that meant something else, and it meant completely different things in the different context. So I was like, okay, what does this mean in this comparative one? So anyway, but yeah, typically, so they said, will start applying to jobs soon, not graduated yet. Please tell me what I can improve. So there's no real thing for me to do a 20 seconds on this because I don't know what this is. But, wait, are you a software development engineer? See, I don't even know. So first off, technical skill sections don't count. Second off, this should be one line. Then we go to here, projects. This has nothing to do with software development? Maybe it does. Again, this is where you need to tell me, because maybe SDE doesn't stand for software development engineer. Maybe it stands for something else where this person is. But this has nothing I would need to move forward with a software engineer. So when you graduate, you don't need to do this during school or internships, but when you graduate, what you will need to do is you need to be able to state what kind of software engineer you are. Are you full stack? Are you backend? If yes, backend, then are you Python or Java or .NET? Or are you a middleware person, which is specifically for like embedded systems? Or are you front end? You need to be specific. This is already reading to me as a generalized resume, and generalized resumes just always fail. They just don't work. So, developed an autonomous sample retrieving planetary rover that has nothing I need. Engineered 4-wheel dual boogie differential suspension systems. Again, I don't know what that means. I don't know why that's useful. Utilize ROS2 might be useful. Then we get down to here is developed a secure note-taking web application. Okay, what did you use with it? With user authentication. No. Okay, again, you cannot do this. This is why this doesn't count, right? Like, everybody wants to do this. This doesn't count. You wrote nothing. So unfortunately, because you did not show me how you use Next.js, Tailwind CSS, MongoDB, and TipTap, and Auth.js, it doesn't count. This might as well not exist in your resume. It needs to be here. You need to show me how. I cannot move forward with it if you do not show me how. Developed a, like, there's nothing here. This is almost an entirely blank page. So, yeah, my problem with this is I don't know what you are. I don't know what you do, and you do not tell me what you do. And when you do tell me what you do, you didn't tell me what you did to how you did it, which is part of the qualifications. This is why you cannot just have keywords. This is why keywords do not work. This is why I try not to call them keywords, because they are qualifications. Because you cannot just shove them here because they don't count. You have to put them in here that shows how you used it and the reason and result you used it. So this is really short, but that's all I can do because I don't know what you are. You didn't tell me what you are. And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just like, this is what's going to happen when you start applying. So I don't know I don't even know if you're really going to be a software engineer. You might be some kind of like middleware or system admin type of thing, but you did not tell me. So that's all I can do for this episode. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you need more help, stop by my Twitch live stream at Twitch TV/Headless Headhunter, whatever. It's in the link below. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST. That is where I stream, and I'm here to help you get ahead of your job search.